beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we watched 1992's Honeymoon in Vegas. It's written and directed by Andrew Bergman. It's got 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 1987. Jack, who is played by Nicolas Cage, is visiting his mother in the hospital. She's not doing great. She wants him to promise to never get married. No woman could love him like she does. He refuses, and she dies right then and there.
And she's played by the immutable Anne Bancroft.
Yes, and it's such a, I know I've said it before, where, I feel like that's a waste. Sometimes...
It's a complete and total waste of Anne Bancroft. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it's literally 30 seconds long, but it's good. It's a great 30-second scene. There's a cute little animated title sequence with a sad man trying to climb to the top of a wedding cake where the bride is waiting. He tries things like cannons and tight ropes and finally just climbs up it, but the bride at that point has had enough and climbs down and walks away. It's very reminiscent of Monty Python. 4 years later, Jack is a private investigator. A potential new client says his wife is sleeping with Mike Tyson. Jack doesn't believe it, so the guy leaves. Then Jack's voiceover tells us about his girlfriend. Her name is Betsy. She's played by Sarah Jessica Parker. She's an elementary school teacher, 2nd grade. She's the love of his life, but he just can't marry her. He's good with his friends, helps out when he hosts a poker night. She'll even go with him on jobs that he does when school is out. Betsy does know about his hangups with his mother. She knows that he dreams about her. Sometimes it's unpleasant, but she says that she'll wait for him. We cut to a year later, and Betsy is starting to make excuses to not hang out with Jack because he won't marry her. His friends try to talk him into just marrying her. And then one night he takes her to dinner and she says that their relationship isn't good. They need to take it to the next step. She wants to be married with kids one day and she needs a commitment. On the drive home, Jack says, let's go to Vegas. We'll go tomorrow and get married this weekend. Betsy agrees. And then his voiceover tells us that if he just said, let's go to City Hall, the story would be over. But they go to Vegas. Next, we see a white limo pulling up to a casino. The passenger is someone named Tommy Corman, who's played by the wonderful James Caan. He is a con man. He is upset that his room at the casino that he normally stays in is occupied by the president of Brazil. So he grabs the concierge by the dick until he agrees to get him the room.
And the concierge is played by the amazing Tony Shalhoub.
Yes. Later, when Tommy is walking around the pool, he's reminiscing on his dead wife, Donna, who used to lay out on the chairs all day. Jack and Betsy arrive at the casino and they go to check into their room. Tommy sees them and is floored at the resemblance that Betsy has to Donna. It's uncanny, and he thinks God is giving him a second chance. Jack and Betsy's room is huge. It's $192 a night, and in $1992, that's actually a lot of money. Betsy's very happy that they're getting married. Jack is a little bit less than thrilled. Jack calls down to the desk, tells them they can take off the Do Not Disturb sign, just as a black envelope is slid under the door with his name on it. It's an invitation for a poker game for new guests that afternoon. He tells Betsy about the game. It could be fun, then they'll go to get married. Betsy tries to get him to go sooner, but he swears it's not another excuse. They're getting married. Let's just make a night of it. She doesn't want him to go play poker, but ends up agreeing to him doing it. The game was organized by Tommy, no surprise there. Jack gets down to $20, says he should leave the table, but Tommy convinced him to stay by offering him $1,000 in chips and saying if he loses, it's on the hotel. Jack accepts and the game continues. Jack wins big. Then he gets a straight flush to the jack and borrows the money to call, but it keeps going and he keeps borrowing more money. But Tommy also has a straight flush, but it's to the queen, so it beats his hand. And now Jack's in the hole for $65,000. While they're playing, Betsy is at the pool. She's reading. The PA system says that she has a call. It's her mother. But she says she'll call her back, closer to the ceremony. Back with Jack and Tommy. Jack is in a lot of trouble here. Loan sharks won't loan him this kind of money. Tommy says he could get hurt. Jack offers to make payments over a couple of years, but Tommy has another suggestion. Let him have a weekend with his girlfriend. Tommy explains about his wife. He'll forgive the debt for just having a weekend with Betsy. He just wants the company. They can get married after the weekend. Jack goes to find Betsy at the pool. She can tell that he's upset, and he says that they need to talk. And he tells her about the deal. She's obviously upset. They fight about it. Jack tries to defend what happened. His hands should have been unbeatable. Betsy says that she won't sleep with Tommy. She tells Jack that he's turned her into a whore. Jack says, let's just forget it. He'll figure it out. Jack calls a friend who is named Sally Mollers. He is a dentist, to try to borrow the money.
And a bookie.
But he doesn't have the money. When Sally hears what the deal is, he tells Jack to just take it and not to mess around. Jack drops Betsy off at dinner with Tommy. It's a dinner show with several Elvis impersonators. Betsy and Tommy talk. She accused Tommy of rigging the game. Tommy says Donna was always skeptical too. He tells her about Donna's cancer, melanoma. Betsy asks about his kids. Tommy says he has a boy and a girl. His son has just graduated. Betsy will meet him this weekend in Hawaii. She's confused about leaving, but he says it's the weekend. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in Vegas. Meanwhile, Jack's been gambling and losing. He sees Betsy and Tommy leaving dinner and runs to catch Betsy. She tells him about Hawaii and they argue. She tells him if he wanted to marry her, he would have done it this afternoon instead of playing poker. Jack runs to Tommy's room, but Tommy's friend, whose name is Johnny Sandwich, tells him already that Tommy's left to go to the car to go to Hawaii. In the car, Betsy still has reservations, but Tommy says by doing this, she's helping Jack with the debt, and being gone will make him remember how crazy he is about her, so they drive off. Jack's walking down the strip, feeling really sorry for himself, but then says he has to get out of here and starts running. Tommy and Betsy make it to Hawaii. Tommy owns a place on Kauai. It's beautiful. It's lush. He shows her her room. They share a nice walk on the beach. Jack is now back at work in New York. The client claiming his wife was sleeping with Mike Tyson is back, this time with a picture. He thinks this picture shows her with Mike Tyson, but Jack says it's not him. The guy says Jack doesn't understand what it feels like to know his woman is with another man, but Jack does. Betsy and Tommy are doing all of the activities on Kauai. They're snorkeling, horseback riding, hiking, having just a generally really nice time. Jack desperately tries to find a listing for Tommy Corman on Kauai, but has no luck. Betsy and Tommy argue about her situation. Tommy says if he wanted to marry her, he would have done so as soon as they touched down in Vegas. But Jack didn't. He decided to play poker instead, and she deserves better. He tells her to really think about it before she marries him. Then his son shows up. A volcano apparently is erupting, and Tommy says they should go and see it. Jack sees the news of the volcano eruption and goes to the airport where Ben Stein is holding up the line with ridiculous questions. Jack is very annoyed and approaches the counter where Ben is not even flying today. He's just making arrangements. Jack yells about how everyone in line is flying today, so buy your ticket and go. His girlfriend was kidnapped and just taken to Hawaii. Back on the island, Tommy and Betsy are in a small rowboat, and Tommy admits the game was a ruse to get Jack in debt so that he could spend time with her. He tells her that if she wants to leave tomorrow instead of Wednesday, he understands, but Betsy says she'll stay. It's just a strange circumstance. Tommy professes his feelings, says he would jump in front of a train for her, and then kisses her. But she doesn't know if it feels wrong. Then they spend the evening with Tommy's son, his wife, and their baby. Tommy gets a call. It's his buddy, Johnny Sandwich again, telling him that Jack is on the morning flight to Hawaii. Tommy tells him to stall Jack. It's a sensitive moment with Betsy now. Betsy calls the hotel later that evening to speak to Jack and is upset to learn that he checked out on Sunday. She calls his house, but there's no answer. Jack finally lands in Hawaii. Tommy's friend Johnny Sandwich is there. Apparently, he's been following Jack this entire time. And he's paid off a cabbie to pick Jack up. The cabbie, who is named Mahi Mahi and played by the incomparable Pat Morita, takes Jack's bags and tells him he knows who Tommy Corman is and where to find him. But the cabbie ends up taking him to a different house with a guy who is named Chief Orman instead, who's played by Peter Boyle. Mahi Mahi convinces Jack to meet with the chief for just 10 minutes. He has a lot of influence on the island. Jack agrees and sits. He asks where to find Tommy, but the chief is interested in show tunes instead. As they leave the chief's house, Jack tells Mahi to take him to like any place they can make a phone call. But Mahi wants to take him sightseeing instead. So Jack tricks him into going back into the chief's house so that he can steal the cab. Betsy and Tommy are at the Kauai Club. He gives her a ring. She asks if it was Donna's, but he says it's not, it's Betsy's. Betsy doesn't want to accept it, but Tommy wants to marry her. Life is so short. Betsy says she needs to get back to her real life, but Tommy says he loves her. He wants to marry her. She insists she can't just marry him. It's too much. Plus, there's Jack. There's feeling there. She brings up the rigged game he had. Tommy says when Jack lost the money, he just offered Betsy. Meanwhile, Jack has found Tommy's house, and Tommy's son tells him where they are. Tommy is telling Betsy that he lied about the game being rigged. He was trying to protect her. She argues, says that he owed Tommy $65,000, and Tommy says no, it was only $3,000. Tommy tries to calm her and says, let's go to Vegas and get married, but she walks off saying she needs to be alone. Jack makes it to the club. He finds Betsy and is running and calling her name, but Tommy ends up tackling him to the ground before she hears him and tries to tell him that he has the money. He knows Tommy didn't do this for the money. He just wanted Betsy. Then security comes and drags Jack away while he's yelling that his girl, his wife, is up there. Tommy approaches Betsy. She says she thought she heard her name being called by Jack, but maybe it was just the wind. Then she says she's going to want children very soon, and Tommy says that would be great. Betsy agrees to marry him. She wants to get on with her life. Jack's at the police station. He wants to make a call. He calls Sally Moeller's again to bail him out. It's only $5,000. Outside, Mahi Mahi is waiting for him. Jack asks him to take him to Corman's house, but Mahi tells him they went to Vegas to get married. Jack has him rush to the airport instead. He missed the plane by only 20 minutes, but the next one isn't until 8:30 p.m. that night. Jack asks for any flight with a connection to Vegas. Tommy and Betsy are on their way to the hotel, and he suggests buying a place in Connecticut, but Betsy says she can't even think about that right now. In the room, he leaves her to get ready while he goes to meet with Johnny Sandwich. Johnny tells him that Jack got off the island, but he hasn't gotten a flight to Vegas yet. Jack can't get a fast flight. He starts walking down a runway of small private planes with a cardboard sign, like a homeless person trying to get a ride. And he's picked up by a plane of Elvis impersonators, but he doesn't realize that they'll have to jump from the plane. Betsy tries to call Jack and leave a message. She finds Tommy. She wants to talk to him about this. From there, we cut to Jack. He's on the plane, and he learns at that moment that he has to jump from it. Betsy wants to know why this needs to be so fast. She's not ready. Wait a few weeks, a month, get to know each other. Tommy offers her $500,000 to marry him. If it doesn't work out, she can keep it. She says, screw you, the weekend is over. He grabs her and tells her she's being rude. He ups it to $1 million. She says she needs to go to the bathroom, needs to be alone for just a couple of minutes. He says, okay, you get 5 minutes. Then we go and get married. She said she'd marry him. That's a promise. She seems a bit afraid, and he is being a little bit threatening. Tommy calls Johnny Sandwich and tells him to stay close to her. Jack is terrified about jumping from the plane. All of the Elvises are as comforting as they can be, which is honestly not very. Meanwhile, Betsy has taken the stairs and she's going down, not up to the room. Sandwich finds Tommy and tells him, then goes to look for Betsy. Jack tries to remember the order he should pull the cords for the main and backup parachutes that he's wearing. Betsy's running through the kitchens with Sandwich on her heels, but before he can find her, she's changed her clothes and is wearing a showgirl costume. The plane that Jack is on is being flown by the Flying Elvises. That's their act. They're going to be jumping right over the hotel. As the Elvises start their jump, Betsy makes it outside. Jack jumps. He opens the chute correctly. Tommy is looking for Betsy outside in the crowd as Jack is coming in for a landing, and the announcer says Jack's name. So Betsy stops and they see each other. They run into each other's arms. She says she couldn't reach him. He tells her about the flights and jail and calling her name. And she said Tommy called it the wind. She was so stupid, and they kiss a bunch. Betsy tells Jack that Tommy says it was only $3,000, and Jack is flabbergasted. She says she realized she couldn't do it, though. Jack says he dreamed of his mother last night again, but when she opened her eyes, he told her, I'm gonna marry that girl, and she smiled, but she was naked. Betsy and Jack go straight to a wedding chapel and get married, with the Flying Elvises in full attendance. The end. Elizabeth?
Yes, dear.
You said that this movie was pissing you off. How did you feel about this movie?
So there's some good and there's some bad. The good Anne Bancroft is fantastic for the 4 minutes that she is on screen.
Yeah.
The cameo by Tony Shalhoub made me very happy. The ending where he jumps out of the plane to get to her, like, that is kind of the ultimate as far as grand romantic gestures go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It was
Like,
really, really cute.
you can't get more romantic than that. I jumped out of a
No.
fucking airplane for you. But the bad.
Yeah.
The movie takes a little while to get going.
It does.
Once it gets going, we are introduced to a Nicolas Cage that has a serious gambling problem that they will not reference or make direct nod towards, and in no way will they deal with. I was kind of pissed that, like, he gambled all of his money away in a night and then was like, well, I guess I'll just go back to New York. But the number one thing that pissed me the fuck off about this movie, and I say this recognizing that it is a piece of cinema from its time and it is not alone on this platform, but I fucking hate movies that treat women as objects to be bought, sold, and bartered. And
Agree.
that's all this is.
Yep.
This movie, like, he's got a serious gambling problem. He goes into that fucking card game knowing he has $500 to spend, and instead he sends $65,000. And the solution is to give up his fiance.
Yep.
And they did this in another movie that was not lighthearted and comedic called Indecent Proposal. And the entire idea that, oh, honey, I really love you, but I'm going to give you to this creepazoid for a weekend because you are my property.
Yeah.
And I can buy and sell and trade you as I see fit.
Nothing but a commodity.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that right in its stupid fucking ear. That's about what I feel about that.
And
like, the underlying premise of the movie offends me to such a degree that I had trouble watching the film as anything other than, like, medieval feudalism.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, because of her position, her character's position in the film, all of her lines are dumb and they're whiny.
Oh.
There's no, like, argument.
She has no agency and no brain.
No.
But to make matters worse, Nick Cage offers her up as part of his card game because he got in the whole $65,000. $65,000. And then jump forward to the end of the movie where she's telling Tommy, I have doubts. I don't think I can do this. What does he do? He again offers to buy her loyalty. He offers to buy a marriage from her. He'll give her $500,000. And when she isn't biting on that, he's like, no, I'll make it $1 million. This is a lose-lose proposition or a win-win proposition for you. If this doesn't work out, we get a fucking divorce. You keep the $1 million. Because again, he's not in love with her. She's just an object to be bought and sold.
Yep. Yeah. I agree with every one of the points that you've made. I do. I did try to see it for what it was, for when it was made, and try to put that on the back burner, but I'm not going to sit here and say that that didn't prickle me a bit, because it definitely did. For, like, if I ignore that element, I think that the writing is okay. I think the direction's okay. I think it's camp.
Yeah, for a 1989, 1990 piece of cinema, it is what it is. It's okay. It's not going to win any awards.
No. It's a very pedestrian, campy rom-com from the early 90s.
I did like all of the Elvises. And,
I love that part.
And
the baby Elvis in the blue.
Oh my god.
Dinner, that was so cute. That kid was like 4 years old.
Yeah, it just... I do like movies about old Vegas because I go to Vegas probably at least once a year, and it's so different now that I'm
Mhm.
constantly like into these movies that feature old Vegas.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun because Bally's is where most of this movie takes place. Bally's still exists. It was recently bought by a different conglomerate and renamed the Horseshoe, but it's still the same hotel. It just they update it every once in a while. And fun little fact, listeners, I got married in the Bally Casino at the Sci-Fi Wedding Chapel in there.
Yeah, I appreciated all of the insane cameos.
Yeah. Let's why are we tap dancing around this? What are we gonna rate this?
Like I said, I think it's a really, pedestrian
For feminism, it
rom-com.
gets an F.
For feminism, 100,000%, it gets an F. It gets, yeah, F minus 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 minus.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's
It's
not
just
going
fine.
to do anything. It's not going to stir anything in my soul. It's fine.
I'd give it a D, honestly.
Yeah. D's, I could live with a D. What do we give the caginess of it? We barely talked about Nick Cage in this.
Honestly, I feel like his effort was a bit pedestrian as well. The only time I saw that be any different was the airplane, the jumping out of the airplane, the change in his demeanor from, relief at being accepted onto the flight, confusion about being asked, what size parachute he would need, freaking out about learning that he's going to have to jump from the plane.
So I was just kind of curious, like, what else did he do around this time?
Mm-hmm.
So he's already got in 1987 and 88 in his back pocket Moonstruck and Vampire's Kiss, which we gave him A pluses for both of those.
Mm-hmm.
But Honeymoon in Vegas came out in 1992. We have seen the movies we've seen that are surrounding 1992 is 1990's Firebirds, 91's Zandalee, 92's Industrial Symphony, 93's Amos and Andrew, which are all F films with an F, a D, and a C for Nick Cage. This is a fallow period.
Yeah, I think that's fairly obvious. Because I wasn't really impressed with anything, but I wasn't disappointed really with
Yeah.
anything from him.
I thought James Caan was wonderful.
I did as well.
And I thought that Nick Cage was doing a pretty good job of freaking out.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't feel comfortable giving him anything above a B minus.
Honestly, I don't even think that I would go that high. Like, I think that I would call it a C. I think that it was a really pedestrian effort.
I can live with a C.
You know what I mean? Like, and listen, actors act in things because they gotta pay bills. This is their job. And I know that, like, they can't really take, like, moral stands on the things that they make in some situations. And, like, this is what he does for a living. And I get it. And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But like I feel like at this point we've how many episodes do we have now? We've
This
34
this is our 39th.
39th. Oh wow, I was a little bit off. So this is the 39th episode of this show that we're recording. This is the 39th movie of his that we've seen. And I feel like there are more movies of his that disappoint me than make me happy to have watched it.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's just a lot of the movies that we've seen have been from the 80s and the 90s. So like there haven't been
We have not seen a lot of modern Cage.
We've not. I mean, obviously Longlegs was our most modern, but that only came out last year. But I think the last movie that we saw of his, I think we've only seen like 3 or 4 that have been between like 2010 and 2018. I don't know, but it's not And, like, it's not that, like, his performances aren't always great. Like, Moonstruck, you bring up, is a movie that I did not enjoy. As far as the story is concerned, but his acting was amazing in it. There's been movies like what was the one, the Humanity Bureau? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's a Matt Damon vehicle. Hang on. What was the one that we watched? It's like post-apocalyptic.
The something bureau. Hang on.
It is the something bureau. Maybe it is the Humanity
Bureau.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the one that, never mind, I don't care about the one that Matt Damon did. Anyways, like, that movie is terrible. That movie is terrible. It's not good. But his performance was so nuanced and subdued and wonderful and dark and rich. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we see movies where he's either very good and the film itself is shit, or he's just not good, but the film should have been, like, a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have, however, seen a fair amount of films that were good that he was good in.
Yeah, that's also true. Then again, I mean, it could just be because we're both just so disappointed in the meat and potatoes of the plot of this movie. Because Sarah Jessica Parker is an amazing fucking actress, and I feel like she got...
Oh, I'm not a fan.
I think she's amazing. I'm not a fan of, like, a lot of the projects that she works on, but she's a good actress. She's a really good actress. But I could not enjoy anything that she did in this at all, because she didn't have a personality.
She has no personality. She has no agency. She has no interior life. She has no inner thoughts. When she is agonizing over whether she should go with dipshit 1 or dipshit 2, I forget their fucking names, she stares off into space and it looks blank because there's no interior going on there.
Yeah. You know, that's also a fair point, dipshit 1 and dipshit 2, because you can't remember their names. They all pretty much have very childlike names. They're either
Tommy
Jokey
and
Jack and Betsy.
Yeah.
And then we have the ridiculous names.
I'm an Elizabeth. I get annoyed at people that are adults named Betsy. Because, come on.
I don't blame you. And then, I mean, like, there's the ridiculous side characters. But I do actually appreciate the comedy of them having strange nomenclatures. Like, Sally Mollers, who's a dentist. Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I would give this movie an F. I would give the caginess of it a C.
What did we... Let me scroll. Let me figure out what we just did. I
think that's what we gave it.
Leaving Las Vegas. Honeymoon in Vegas.
Yeah.
We gave it a D.
Oh, a D. Okay, yeah, D.
And a Nick Cage score of C.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because there were some funny moments. I don't think that it's so bad that it deserves an F, but this movie wasn't great. It was, I mean, it's watchable. I'm not going to say it's not watchable. It is watchable.
Yeah, thank God for watchable. When did that become our goddamn standard?
I mean...
Sometime after jiu-jitsu, Elizabeth. That's the answer. Sometime after jiu-jitsu, we were like, God, if I could just sit through this.
Oh, the bar is low. But you know what? It means that we can be surprised. So... but I think that's it for us for this week. If you want to follow along, you can find us on socials on Instagram at NotTheBeastPod. If you'd like to support us in what we're doing, you can find us on patreon.com/NotTheBees. And we'd love it, of course, if you would interact with this or any episode. But until next week, I've been Megs.
And I've been grumpy feminist Elizabeth.
We'll see you next time.